All right, folks, for those of you who are listening on the podcast feed or watching the podcast feed on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you find your favorite podcasts, we are just waiting right now for the gremlins at YouTube to get our feed live because we are about to go live here with Suds News. So we are just about there. And I'm just going to go ahead and get the link so I could share it to Twix and copy and paste. And we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Suds News. I am Vinnie. This is Angela. And I'm going to go ahead right now and put our Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee links in the chat just so that you can help support us, I should say, because we've been we're here to help you.
Entertain you.
Yes, exactly. Entertain you. Circle. Okay, so buymecoffee.com. Since we don't have the super chat function yet, that's why I'm putting in the other links how you can help us and support us. Slash Suds and Squared Circle. And as always, I do want to let everybody know that we are an official affiliate of the WWE shop, which is a Fanatics experience. Go on over to suds-media.com/wrestling merch. That does have our affiliate link in the URL. That does help us out. So go ahead and do that because we are that gives us that gives us a commission for whatever you buy using that link, whether it's something from ECW or anything of WWE Legends or WWE current superstars or NXT, anything. Suds-media.com/wrestling merch has the affiliate link in there. As always, we are also on Patreon. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and do Patreon. It is patreon.com, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it is I think I changed it to /Suds Media, but I want to make sure of that. Settings. And we lost Angela's
Nope, I'm here. I was just
camera. Okay.
give me 1 second. I'm here. You were housekeeping, so I was.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Let me just page. Oh, so it's still Suds and Squared Circle. Okay, so it's patreon.com/Suds and Squared. I apologize, folks. I'm just trying to get all of the links together. Suds and Squared Circle. They are now both in the chat. All right. So we've got a lot to go over because it was a good week as always of GH. A little bit of housekeeping before we get into GH. I do want to thank everybody for tuning in last week and for tuning into our newest shows and our new content that is up. We have Take Me Down to Studio City, which gets released to Patreon every Wednesday, and then the YouTube and the podcast feed on Thursdays. We also had the debut episode of Angela Answers Fan Mail. Those are not necessarily going to be weekly. It's just whenever we have stuff to go over. But that was a huge hit on YouTube as well as that'll go to Patreon first going forward. And we do have a lot of stuff. Hi, Kaiwan. Welcome to the chat. How are you tonight? I thank everybody for watching. Thank you for all for subscribing. And so there's still more coming out. This coming Thursday, we have Sports Entertainment Center coming out. That'll be a collaboration with myself and John from Chair Shot Sports. We're going to be going over wrestling every week. That'll be released to Patreon on Thursdays, released to the general public on Fridays. And then we're also doing another thing with Chair Shot Sports. It's going to be a huge collaboration Jonathan from Treasure Island Sports, along with Matt from the 10th floor, as well as others. We're all going to be doing a review of the Mr. McMahon documentary that's dropping on Netflix this coming Wednesday, the 25th. So we're going to be doing one episode a week. So definitely check that out as well. Just a lot of stuff going forward, a lot of content coming out from Suds and Squared Circle Media and collaborations galore that are helping out. I'm also in the process of developing an after show for Heels to try to get support for hashtag Heels season 3. And for those of you who are Studio City fans, like I said, we start Take Me Down to Studio City. Start using the hashtag Studio City season 3 to try to get support for that as well. So we are here to talk about General Hospital. That's what you tuned in for. And
Yes.
we have a lot of GH to go over. Some really good stuff. I did not watch today's episode, so I do want to point that out. I don't always get a chance to watch Monday's episode before we record because of just the timing, and I watch it on Hulu. So I'll watch it tomorrow. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. Go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, get notified anytime anything comes up here on our Suds and Squared Circle network. So Angela,
Yes.
first impression of this week's General Hospital.
I liked Sonny hiring Martin. I liked Martin being back. Although it still cracks me up, Sonny. I'll do anything I can. Well, not anything, Sonny, right? Not anything that doesn't inconvenience me in any way.
Yeah.
Yeah, this whole thing is I still don't see how this isn't his exit.
It's got to be. I don't see a way out.
They just keep digging the hole deeper and deeper and deeper.
Because even if Sam finds the gun, because that's Sam's newest thing now, she's going to find the gun, that Alexis threw off that could possibly clear Alexis's name. But even if she finds the gun, that gun is going to exonerate both Alexis and Sonny because the gun was not the one that was used to kill Kate. Jason already melted that down.
Right. But what I'm worried about is that they find the gun and it's too damaged for ballistics tests.
Right.
But it's the same caliber.
Right.
That would be not helpful to Alexis.
No, not helpful at all. But yeah, so I don't, and then, okay, what happened to Martin Gray's accent?
I don't know, but I'm fine with it. Apparently, he saw the same person that Lois.
Yeah, seriously, like there were so many people thinking it was a new Martin, but it's not. It's still Michael E. Knight playing Martin Gray, just no beard. Which okay, whatever. He shaved.
I was gonna say he changed a lot of the look too.
Yeah, and no accent. Like Matt from the 10th floor seems to think that's a conspiracy against him because
he is devastated. He was the first person I thought of. I was like, oh my God, I don't know. I'm like, I messaged him. I'm like, are you doing okay? He's like, what are you talking? I spoiled it for him.
Yeah.
Because he hadn't watched yet. And I was like, oh, this one's going to hurt. You might want to sit down.
Yeah. But it's just it's sad. Like they're taking away some of the individuality of the characters. I mean, that's what made Martin.
True, but it also might be the actors.
It could be, yeah.
Not wanting to do it.
Yeah.
Which is really what I am starting to think, like with Raina.
Yeah.
She's just like, I just don't want to do this all the time. Do something about this. And
I get it. I do understand. I'm not from Long Island, but I am Italian, so I can understand, I can understand how the Italian accent can grate on people, especially from Long Island.
Right. I mean, I'm from Boston and my Boston accent comes out, and it doesn't bother me because it's just in my natural speech. But if
Right.
I had to fake one,
Right, exactly.
that could get annoying.
Oh, I agree completely. Um, so Taiwan, thank you so much. You're already one of the most active people in chat. Thank you so much. We love when you're in the chat. Um, he did say, I think the accent was supposed to be a callback to All My Children early years, but now he can kind of slow it down. I didn't watch All My Children in the, early years, so I can't relate. Did Tad Martin have an accent?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I mean, I don't remember him having that accent unless he had it when he first started or something, but I don't remember Tad because he was Tad the cat. He was a ladies' man and I don't remember the accent, but I wasn't, All My Children was one I only watched here and there. It wasn't one that I watched religiously like so many others.
Well, there is some All My Children news. Might as well get that out of the way while we have the subject up. There are going to be two made-for-TV movies by Lifetime because
Hmm.
it does own part of A&E Networks. I guess that's the correlation there. So
Mm,
able to use their IP. But they are having uh, all two All My Children made-for-TV movies. One's going to be
hmm.
a holiday-themed one um, on Lifetime in is it this year or next year?
I would assume it's next year. I can't imagine that they can do it in time for this year because they just announced that it
Okay, yeah,
was
they just
happening. I would imagine that it'll be next year.
right. So, I mean, either way, it's a good sign for All My Children, and it might drum up support to the point of bringing it back, maybe as a web series.
Mm,
Who knows? But with so much good stuff, um, with so much good stuff on the web that's web exclusive, like Studio City, like The Bay, like Heels, um, there's there's just so much that can be done in
mm,
terms of resurrecting old shows,
mhm.
especially with such a vast fan base like a soap opera.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We also got news this week from The Gates, which is actually now entitled Beyond the Gates, and
Hmm.
they announced three of the lead actors in
Yep.
the show.
Hmm.
Cameron Tooney, who's from Law and Order SVU, among other things, uh,
Hmm.
is going to play the lead in the show.
Yeah,
One
the matriarch. Yeah.
of the
And Carla Mosley, who I love.
yep,
I kind of wanted her to be Jordan for a while, but I'm
yeah.
not unhappy with who we have, but she was a pick for me for Jordan. And I loved her on Bold and the Beautiful. She was great. Yeah.
Either way, so good thing the Gates premieres next year, early next year. So Beyond the Gates, I'm sorry, the
Hmm.
title. So that's going to be a good thing for the soap genre, and again, will it
Yeah.
be for GH? We don't know. We don't know what the lineup's going to look like on CBS. With that show premiering, but either way, it's good for the soap genre.
Yeah.
Uh,
Absolutely. Um, the fact that they're willing to put money into a soap opera,
yeah,
because at the end of the day, and I tell people this all the time, at the end of the day, these are businesses.
yes,
We love them. We are
mhm,
fans. They do them to make money.
exactly.
And if they didn't think they were going to make money on it, they wouldn't be doing it.
You're absolutely right.
And it's Procter and Gamble is
Yeah,
one of the producers of this, is like the big, money behind it. And they're long in the soap game.
yeah.
They, were like one of the first in the soap game, if not the first.
They used to
So they know the
they
market.
yeah, they used to sponsor the nurses ball on GH.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
Procter Gamble knows the soap genre, and they know,
Yes.
you know
Well, I
that
mean, they did Guiding Light and, so many others. Um, so yeah,
So it's going to be good. It's
Yeah.
and give it time, folks. I don't want everybody to just watch the first week of episodes and be like, "Oh, this sucks" or whatever. Give
Right.
it. It's got to build a
It's gonna
following.
need to find its footing. It's gonna need to settle in. And oh yeah, I'm very excited about it. And in today's day and age, there's no reason that you can't watch both
Right.
or all.
Or
I
all.
watched all, and I'm planning on adding this one.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, we have DVR, we have streaming, we have all of it.
Exactly.
It's not like back in the day where you had to decide what to record on the VCR and hope you had a blank tape so
Yep.
your little brother's christening didn't have to be sacrificed.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm not saying I did that, but I'm not saying I didn't.
No, exactly. I agree, considering it's going to be just fantastic. And just to know, for those of you who are wrestling fans out there that are watching as instead watching us instead of Monday Night Raw, thank you. But I do want to let you know that the WWE contract with Hulu is expiring this week. Raw, SmackDown, and NXT will not be on Hulu going forward. So if you have to set your DVRs, if I I'm thankful my sister has YouTube TV, so I'm able to DVR Raw and SmackDown and NXT. NXT is actually moving to the CW on October 1st. So that
Bless you.
goes to Netflix in January. So just to let you know that that contract is ending. Um, so either way, that's going to be that's something to look out for. So just to kind of catch up with Taiwan on the chat, what I was wondering if they're going to let you watch the old episode of All My Children on YouTube. All My Children, you can't really find the clips on YouTube, so yeah, they should be putting it all back on Lifetime. I don't know if they're going to put the entire catalog on Lifetime, but they're going to just gauge the interest with these two, uh, shows and tweet about it. Watch them. Um,
And that's probably what these are for, is to gauge interest. And two, something that everybody has to keep in mind, they can't just, it's not just about if they still have stuff. I mean, no show has their entire catalog anymore. Things have been destroyed, film has degraded, some stuff is just lost to the ages, and that's just how it goes. There were fires, there were
yeah,
natural disasters, things happened. Like whole years and decades are missing some places.
yeah.
But also in, pre-digital filming
Mhm.
era,
Yep.
they have to digitize all of that stuff to be able to put it on today's platforms
And
or on today's television. And that's money.
that's money, as well as editing out any copyrighted material, because they used to do actual music, that now you need licenses for. And if you
Right.
go, WWE did it to their entire catalog, and every territory they bought. So you have to
Mhm.
go through and take out any licensed music and put in something generic so you don't have to keep paying a royalties every
Right.
time something streamed or whatever.
And
So it's a
if there was one thing that let me know that they were planning on a Lucky and Liz reunion, it was them using that flashback from their teen years,
yeah,
because they had to digitize that. They had to spend money on that
yeah, yeah.
because that was pre-fire.
Oh yeah,
So 98, 99,
yeah.
a totally different technology.
Oh, much different.
And,
Absolutely.
they spent money to do that
Yes.
instead of just shooting something new or recreating something or using something more recent
Yeah.
that was already digitized, so, and they're not spending money just willy-nilly.
No. But they are, they ABC is very happy with General Hospital.
Yeah.
So, they are going to spend the money where they have to. Obviously, they're not going to spend it,
Mhm.
but they are going to spend the money when they have to.
Well, I mean, Jay Bernard on Twitter pointed out last week that General Hospital is back to getting bigger advertisers again.
Yeah.
For a while, it had just been really ABC ads and back-to-back pharmaceutical ads and stuff like that. But now they're back to Macy's, Progresso, different big brands, which is a good sign.
Yes.
I
I don't
won't.
watch ads because I watch it on Hulu, so I mean, I never know what the ads are.
And we know how fabulous it's been on Hulu. It's been doing so great on Hulu.
It's been consistent in the top 10 on Hulu, and it's even broached the top 5 a few.
Right. It was one or two one day in the
Yeah,
last couple of weeks. And it even places sometimes on the weekends and there's no new episode.
exactly. Because there's a lot of people that binge the episodes on the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I know that usually I watch Thursday and Friday on Saturday, so it's it just so happens that that's the way the schedule is. But that's
Mm-hmm.
the thing. So GH is in a good place.
Yeah, definitely. And I know the haters wish that were not so and try to pretend it isn't so, but they're wrong. And haha.
Yeah, no, like I said, the haters welcome to come in and watch. However,
Mm-hmm.
one of our newest shows is Angela Answers Fan Mail, where we do address the haters and the pearl clutchers.
The pearl clutching. Yes.
Why we do use the hashtag clutch your pearls. Uh,
Yes.
but the thing is that we do address a lot of the people that are, whether you want to call it hate watching or just posting fake news or
Mm-hmm.
posting information. And just to point out, there's no investigation into ABC or Disney or General Hospital regarding the release of Kelly Monaco. Somebody posted a fake Time magazine cover yesterday because she sent a letter to Time magazine regarding it. And that's something that we'll go into on Angela Answers Fan Mail the next episode. But I do want to point out that there's no investigation into it. There was nothing illegal done. People are released from contracts all the time, especially on soap operas. So that's what it boils down to. There's no investigation. So that's just misinformation. Um,
And here's the thing. I don't think Time Magazine even covered when they fired Stephen Ingo,
no, they
which was
didn't.
a controversial thing at the time, or Ingo suing them. I don't think Time Magazine even cared about that. Time Magazine does not care about the hiring and firing at General Hospital. It
No,
doesn't. Time Magazine doesn't care about the hiring and firing on Grey's Anatomy or that's not their, ma'am, this is a Wendy's. It's
yeah,
not their bag. It's not what they do. It's not going to be what they do. Knock it off.
yeah,
Support your fave, but come on, be serious.
yeah,
And I also want to address this whole blindsided thing. I'm sure it was very shocking and upsetting for Kelly Monaco when she was told she was being let go.
yeah.
But what did not happen is they didn't say, clean out your dressing room, you're fired.
Right.
They said, we're not renewing your contract, or we're not keeping you past your next contract your next cycle in your contract.
Right.
When they told her that she was fired, it was the day before their break started for Labor Day, April or August 22nd or something. She's still filming. She still has more filming left to do.
Yeah.
So they gave her like a 6-week lead, the same as they gave Michael Easton, the same as they gave Roger Howarth. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
General Hospital did not wrong her.
No.
I know that that's upsetting for her fans. I understand. I have had faves fired. I have had faves leave. Believe me, I get it. But you have to be, if you don't approach the situation realistically and seriously, no one's going to take you seriously to begin with. And you're just hurting your cause.
Well, that's the kind of society that we're in now. Like we did an entire episode last month regarding, because that was a good topic to cover in the grand scheme of things, representation soap operas. It was not based directly on, the bring back Jacqueline Grace Lopez.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the pairing of Craze was very popular. It had representation as a lesbian couple, yada 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 yada. And I get that. And yes, it was, one of my favorite couples on the soap itself. But it was not to join the bring back Jack, hashtag movement. We brought spotlight to it because it was representation, but now it's to the point where that's the society we live in, where everybody thinks they have a voice on social media, and we use the hashtags for stuff that we want. I get it. And we're trying to get other hashtags trending. Hashtag Heal Season 3. Hashtag Studio City Season 3. Hashtag this, hashtag that. We get it, because we're part of that. But what it's not gonna do is save somebody's job.
No.
It's not going to make General Hospital reverse course. With that said, I have a feeling that Blaze will be back at some point.
Yeah.
They're keeping Natalia back. They're keeping Natalia there, and they're
And
gonna
it
flesh
seemed,
out their
Jacqueline Grace Lopez did an interview, I think, with Michael Fairman
yes.
recently, or The Locker Room. I can't remember which one it was, but it was one of them. And she said that, from what she said, they left the door open to bring her back, which we saw with how they didn't kill her off or anything like that. But, also, hashtag fire Frank
Yeah.
isn't going to endear you to anybody either. Feel free, but you're not helping your fave with hashtag fire Frank.
No. And he's been a fantastic executive producer for the show.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's gonna have missteps. Everybody's gonna have, stuff that doesn't go over well. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and you know what? The executive producer has the final say, but you know what? For the most part, it is on the writers. We just saw three writing regime changes in this year alone.
Mm-hmm.
From Chris and Dan to Elizabeth and Patrick. Patrick leaves, so it's Elizabeth alone, and now it's Elizabeth and Chris together.
Right.
Now the writing staff is actually kind of leveled out,
Mm-hmm.
and let's see how it goes from there. But Frank Valentini has done a tremendous job at the helm of this soap ever since he came on in 2011.
He saved it. Everybody says that. He saved it. And I also want to say, a lot of the actors have talked about how excited they are, how great, with their storylines and everything right now. And every one of them who name check a writer for it, name checks Elizabeth Corte.
Yeah.
They do. That's who they talk about. I know Nancy Lee Grahn had said that she was very excited when Patrick Mulcahy came back. She said that, but she also praised Elizabeth Corte. Steve Burton, Laura Wright, Finola Hughes, they praise her. Maurice Bernard, they all do.
Yeah.
And there was a Santa Barbara reunion recently.
Yep.
And Patrick Mulcahy was one of the major writers for Santa Barbara. And he said at that event that he was fired from General Hospital. He didn't quit. They let him go. So.
Yeah, and it happens.
Right.
And the fact is that maybe Patrick's visions just weren't going with Elizabeth's, and it just
right. It didn't mesh. Right.
And sometimes what looks good on paper just doesn't translate well to real life.
Right.
We saw that at WrestleMania 20 with Brock Lesnar and Goldberg. It looked good on paper, but the match itself sucked. But of course, I'm going to relate everything to wrestling. That's just me. But
it's okay.
But it does happen. Everybody thought, okay, Elizabeth brings the history. Patrick's writing is fantastic. It just didn't mesh well. So
yeah.
They chose the people.
Well, I think also one of the problems, Patrick came out of retirement and he was one of my favorite writers. He helped create the character of Carly. I loved him. I still do. But he came out of retirement to do this.
Mm-hmm.
His last major job was on Bold and the Beautiful, which is a much smaller cast.
Yeah, much smaller cast.
It's a half-hour show. It's a different format. It's, and it's, each show has their niche. Yep. General Hospital is a lot of action and stuff like that. Bold and the Beautiful is not. And he Patrick is very much family, relationships. The action is to serve those stories, not to just be exciting on its own in for his writing.
Right.
But that's not General Hospital. And he came into a much larger cast.
Yeah.
And he wanted longer scenes. Him and Frank butted heads about that. He wanted to cut the cast. That wasn't happening. There was a lot of, it was a different environment from something he was used to. And now, soaps move at such a more breakneck speed.
Oh yeah.
They
Yeah.
were always, the fastest productions,
Yep.
but more so now,
Yep.
insanely so. And wasn't a good fit for him at this time.
Yeah.
So,
No. So I mean, it happens, and you know what? Elizabeth and Chris are working together, and they're finding their footing.
mhm.
And you know what? The story that they're giving us right now with Lucky's return has been fantastic.
I love it. I don't understand all this. Can we just get him back to Port Trump? Why? Because then what happens?
Yeah, I
This is
mean,
action. This is a fun villain, a fun, fun new sets.
yeah,
I,
it's like, and you don't want to look at it as, oh, society moves too quickly. They can't stand the long-term storytelling, whatever. But you know what? The story is there. Lucky, first of all, they're showing how Lucky is becoming like Luke,
yes,
in his mannerisms and how he's living his life. And maybe this right here, what he's going through, is going to make him choose to not be like Luke. Go
right,
home to Port Charles, be a family man, yada, yada, yada. Something that Luke couldn't be because Luke couldn't stay still for the life of him. Right?
right. And I also want to say to everybody complaining about the lack of Jeannie Francis in this story, Jeannie returned to filming for the first time since she started her summer vacation in like May.
Yeah.
She returned to filming last week.
Yeah.
And then I've also heard people say, well, they should have waited to start it. That's not how it works.
No.
That's not how it works.
No. And you know what? Either way, it's like it's the story that's going on, regardless of the fact that Laura. First of all, Laura is the mayor of Port Charles. Right now, her and Kevin, who's a psychiatrist, they are over in Europe trying to find Lucky. I understand, so there's just a couple things wrong with that. You rarely ever see a mayor of a city go off on some adventure that's going to take them away from the city for weeks on end.
Right.
You know, even with Glenn Jacobs, the mayor of Knox County, Tennessee, who is a wrestler, and when he performed his cane in Saudi Arabia, that was only for maybe 2 or 3 days, not weeks on end.
Well,
And
what's funny about it too is that she also left town while her comatose daughter is, potentially on death's door, and
right,
she just adopted her grandson and her other kids in prison. Yeah,
yeah,
let's go adventure.
yeah,
And I
so,
know that Laura was a big, her and Luke had epic adventures.
yeah,
She was like not even drinking age when she started up with Luke.
yeah.
Come on. The
So
woman is older now. And I mean, it's a very convenient excuse. Last summer, they had her off looking for Nick.
yeah, exactly.
It covers her, but they're not going to, just stop everything because Jeannie's on vacation, on her summer vacation. That's not
Yeah.
how it goes.
And they did good by putting scenes in hold for, to kind of stretch out her being on canvas. But
Mm-hmm.
when her last, scene aired in early August or, mid-August, she'd already been gone for months. So I
Yeah,
mean, they hold it for as long as they theoretically could.
right.
Now they have, and Jason and Anna to get working together, which I'm enjoying that team. Anna
I
gets
think it's
on my nerves at times,
hysterical.
but the I'm sorry, but I question Anna being a spy and just the blatant lack of common sense. Just her and Holly having a conversation in the open.
Oh my God, I was so annoyed with them with that. I was just like,
How?
you guys are both women. Get your asses in the ladies' room and check
Yeah,
under the stalls for feet. What the
exactly.
hell? I was so annoyed with them for that because they are both better than that. But again, this is a soap opera. If everybody acted smart, there'd be no story.
Yeah, I get that, but I mean, just
But it is infuriating.
it gave me agita. It's just
Yeah.
the fact that these two super WSB super spies and have been spies for the majority of their lives. They have a meeting, they have a discussion out in the open.
Yeah. I still, you know what annoyed me the most about that scene? I mean, that annoyed me a lot. But what annoyed me the absolute most is I really wanted a line from either Jason or Anna about how fortunate it was that they were able to find appropriate clothing
Yeah,
for their
exactly.
trip to the casino. Because let me tell you something. If there is one thing Jason Morgan's not going to pack in his go bag, it's going to be a tux. If there's
Exactly.
something he's even more not going to pack, it's going to be a white tux.
Yeah,
You know what
exactly.
I'm saying? Anna, I could almost see her throwing a formal gown in something because she needs them a lot of times on these things. But Jason wouldn't think that, and he hadn't planned on going there with Anna.
No, exactly.
So I wanted a line about where the hell those clothes came from because they certainly did not travel from Port Charles.
No.
But, that is what it is, I suppose. Now, one thing that I really enjoyed, I absolutely loved when Aunt Holly was poking at Anna about Jason.
Yeah.
Alan would be rolling in his grave. Does Monica know? Does Robin? And Anna's like, oh, shut up. Now, I don't think they're doing any. I mean, I know a lot of people think that Jason and Anna are coming. I don't think so.
No.
I think that if Jason and Anna were coming, they'd be doing other things with them. They'd be showing them awkwardly having to share a hotel room. They'd
Yeah.
be showing loaded looks and lingering glances and touches. And she'd have, kissed him for good luck at the table and then been shocked at how it felt, things like that. They're not doing that.
Yeah.
But I loved Holly giving her shit. That
Yeah.
was great.
Oh yeah, it was. It
Monica
was great. And
does Robin. Like, just, oh, shut up.
and then even with Holly coming up, I think you're using something that's not yours or your,
Yes, yeah,
property.
yeah. That was their, I like their dynamic. I always have. Because, even though they don't hate each other anymore, there's still always that raw edge between them
Yeah,
with
of
their
course.
history, which is fitting.
And just the fact that they're aging very well.
Oh
Emma
my.
Taylor looks gorgeous for being over 60.
And Finola Hughes, I'm just like, yeah, I hate them. But it's okay. It's all right. They're gorgeous. They're talented. It's amazing. They bless us with this.
Yeah.
Um, and Sidwell
Yes.
is just a great addition.
Oh yeah.
So he was on, we had talked about this. He was on Burton's podcast a
Yeah.
few weeks ago, and then Mesher is this week's guest. They had released it on Sunday on Daily Drama. And apparently, so I knew that Adam Harrington had auditioned for the role of Jack Brennan. I knew
Okay.
that. And then they later cast, and Charles Mesher got it, and they later cast him.
Yep.
But Sidwell, the Sidwell actor, also auditioned for the role of Jack Brennan.
Yes, he
Charles
did.
Mesher talks about that in the podcast.
Yeah.
So he walked into the room and they were both there.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, I'm never getting this.
Yeah.
He's like, he's in one corner looking great. And then there's Adam Harrington looking like Thor just stepped off, and yeah. So I did not know that. And that I thought was very interesting.
Yeah. And you know what? You got that's just comes back to Mark Carano, who's no,
Teschner, Mark Teschner.
Kushner. Sorry, getting my talent coordinators.
Yes.
Mark Teschner's just casting genius, and having being able to see the vision for specific characters and what they're looking for.
And
I think the Jagger casting might have been a misstep, but outside of
I
that,
actually liked him. It's sad that they took the turn with him when they decided to keep Ava and made him the bad guy instead of getting rid of it, doing the murder mystery with Ava like they were going to do. And then they changed direction. So he was the casualty of that.
yeah,
I liked him as Jagger. I had no problem with him as Jagger. Jagger hadn't been on in so long. And I know that a lot of people were like, oh, they cast a white person. Jagger was white. Jagger was Italian. Jagger was white. Antonio Sabato Jr. is white. He's Italian. He's
yeah,
an Italian American. It wasn't whitewashing a character. That wasn't what happened. Jagger, the character of Jagger is white.
yeah,
Period. End of story. He was. Yeah, okay, they made him blonde, but I didn't really care about that. He was hot. He was a good actor. It worked for me. I
yeah.
wouldn't have minded if they had given him a haircut, but countless actors have talked about how they had auditioned for something else on
Mhm.
General Hospital, didn't get it, but years later, Mark Teschner remembered them for
Yeah,
something else that came up
yeah, of course. Yeah,
because he files them away.
yep. Yeah, that happens numerous times. You hear that story all the time, especially on, you know, daily drama podcasts. So I mean, it's it's a credit to Mark Teschner,
Yeah.
absolutely. But you know what? So the fact that we're going to get, I like Sidwell. I hope that they carry him over to Port Charles.
He's
And
still filming.
oh, he's still filming,
Yes. So that tells me he's going to follow them to Port Charles.
which is going to be fantastic.
I'm really hoping for a um Guza like sweeps. I
Yeah,
think we could possibly be in for one with him coming to Port Charles.
yeah.
I
We
could definitely see that either November or maybe even February. They could drag it out that long. But yeah, I think we're in for an interesting time when he comes to town.
Yeah, because if rumors are correct, November um might be when Kelly has her final scenes, and you know some other stuff that the rumor mill is going through.
From what I've heard, I don't know when her final day of filming is. Um, different sources have two sources have told me. One told me that this week is her final week. One told me that next week is her final week.
Mhm.
Um, it would line up with the 6 week, the next week. Um, November sweeps starts on Halloween, October 31st, Thursday.
Yep.
I have no doubt that I think her death will probably kick off sweeps. Um, there was a recent picture put out by one of the younger actors, and it was the Rocco actor, the Danny actor, and the Scout actor, and they were all on the hospital set,
Yeah.
which makes me think that she's going to get, a hospital death. There was an accident while she's diving, for the gun or something like that. And
Is she going to be the one that saves Lulu by giving up her liver?
I think so, because I think they've laid the groundwork that it can't be lucky with the transplant doctor saying that he wasn't sure he'd be able to because of the drinking and then he'd backtrack and just beers. But
Yeah.
so I think they laid the groundwork that it can't be lucky. So it would make sense,
Yep.
you know. Um, I don't think at first I thought that they could kill her off with like complications for surgery, but now I think they won't do that because then it could make transplants look bad.
Yeah.
But they're having her do this dive for the gun. There could be, and Dante already gave her the warning.
Yep.
It's Dangio, and I'm an expert diver, and on a soap opera, that means something's going to happen.
Yeah.
With the kids filming, all the kids filming at the hospital, I don't think she's going to be washed away with no body found. I think there's going to be some sort of incident
Yeah.
that she just doesn't survive.
Yeah.
But then it could turn out that she's a match for Lulu.
Yeah. And the fact,
So, and you don't have to be dead to be a liver donor, but if you're dying anyway.
Say, oh yeah, she was a organ donor, and Lulu needs an
Yeah,
organ. So
exactly. And she had told Dante she was going to get tested. She told Dante and Laura she was going to get tested. And I keep going back to that whole, in one scene, Dante, I think, was talking to Chase about Sam. And he said, um, that he called Sam his miracle.
yeah,
And in another scene, Laura was talking and she said Lulu needed a miracle.
yeah,
And that still keeps sticking in my head that
yeah,
that was foreshadowing. And
yeah, exactly. Um, so let's move on a bit, but I do, I think that Sidwell coming over to Port Charles and following them is going to be great. It's going to be
Mhm.
a bigger umbrella story because it's going to involve a multitude of characters. Because you're going to have Lucky, and Lucky's going to be with Elizabeth. Now you have Jason and Anna, so it
The
could.
WSB had a dossier on this guy, so
Yeah,
Brennan's involved.
yeah.
Robert will be involved because, well, I thought it was interesting because this week they have on Friday, Robert and Diana are going out for a date.
Oh, okay.
Just as Holly's set to show back up.
Yep. So there's a little bit of drama there. I mean, I
Hmm.
like Robert and Diane together because I like how they needle each other.
Oh, I think they're adorable. I think Tristan's retiring. I think that's why they brought Holly into this story,
Yeah, I
is
think
because Tristan's retiring and
the
she's gonna.
last couple times we've seen him, he hasn't looked that
Yeah.
vibrant.
Hmm. Although today he was very sparkly with Jack Brennan. Charles Metcher brings it out in everybody, even Tristan Rogers, even grumpy old men.
So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. How that goes over. I mean, the you made a comment a couple weeks ago that come the end of this year, the landscape of General Hospital could look tremendously different. So with
Yes.
Kelly Monaco being let go, Tristan Rogers possibly retiring. We don't know for sure, folks, so don't quote us. Uh,
Yeah. And that's just spec. Just like I think that this is Mo's exit story. That's also just my spec.
Speculation. So, I mean, there is a possibility of three major characters leaving, possibly.
It
One,
was also interesting today because they mentioned Stephen Lars Weber, Liz's
really?
brother. He's out of prison and living in Sedona. She talked to Terry about it,
Wow. Okay.
which is very interesting. And
Yeah.
Terry asked what he was doing for work, and Liz was like, "Oh, I didn't really ask him," which kind of was
Yeah.
interesting because
Because
I
he's
had also heard that they were looking to build up the hospital side.
right.
So we might be seeing him back.
That would be great. Now, will it be the same character, Scott Reeves?
I don't know. I'm
I
not sure.
because
Maybe.
I don't think he's under contract anywhere.
No, I don't think so. Him and
And
his
I
wife
know
live in
he and Steve
Tennessee.
Burton are good friends, and Bradford, and they all played in Port Chuck.
Hmm.
The next thing we need is Johnny Demare to come back.
Oh, he's too happy at Days.
All right, excuse
Yeah. Yeah, he's way too happy at Days of Our Lives.
me.
Yeah.
And who knows if there's friction between him and Kirsten.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't seem so,
Yeah,
because, I saw like they've posted like family videos of them, shopping and her and his wife are always liking each other's posts.
yeah.
So,
So I
yeah.
mean, yeah, there's I don't think I was just making a tongue in
Oh,
cheek.
I know. Yeah. It's not like me and my ex.
Yeah, I hear that. Uh, I trust me. Yeah, I can't even get started on my.
Hmm.
Um, but okay, so we did get to see Cyrus again this week.
Yes.
To see Lulu as well as Isaiah,
I was also thinking with Cyrus popping up, it's possible that he ends up her donor.
which could be as an act of showing that
Hmm.
he wants to save lives and stuff. Because think about it, it's Cyrus's fault that she's in the coma.
Yes. And, they're going to have to somehow integrate him into the family.
Yes.
And with her waking up, that's a little bit more difficult. But if he helps save her life,
Yeah, that could be.
yep.
That's a good idea. And by the way, 10th Floor Podcasts, they do have an awesome interview with Jeff Kober on
Hmm.
the YouTube channel. They had it live last Thursday, so it is up now on demand. And it's also on their podcast feed as well, 10th Floor Podcasts. Check it out. Great. And actually, speaking of interviews, Angela had an interview with them, with 10th Floor, of the new Gabby on Days of Our Lives, Sherry Jimenez. So
She is amazing.
uh,
Love her, love her, love her. And I'm going to talk to her some more and do an interview for Petty Prattle.
very,
So, yes. And this week we have Julie Dove, who played Connie, the killer.
yeah.
So, yeah, we got back-to-backs interviews.
Yeah, so good for 10th Floor doing that there. And just as we're talking about Matt and Kat from the 10th Floor, they're also doing a Monsters after show on the JLG Media podcast platform. But it's on their YouTube channel. So check it out either way, whether it's 10th Floor Podcast YouTube or JLG Media Podcasts. Check that out. It's the Monsters after show. And let me tell you something. Speaking of monsters, um, Nicholas Alexander Chavez, is fantastic and we can see why he bulked up quite a bit
Mhm.
his tenure.
Yes. He was great in it. I binge watched the entire thing in one go. I was up till 4:30 in the morning. It was incredibly well done. It was everything you would expect a Ryan Murphy show to be. It wasn't a documentary. It was a
Mhm.
dramatization. The acting was phenomenal across the board. Um, he was playing the same character.
Yeah, just a
Spencer
little bit more,
Cassadine, entitled, spoiled, trust fund kid.
just a little bit more vulgarity.
Exactly.
Um, yeah, so I check it out. It is on Netflix. Netflix is on fire right now, so check it
Hmm.
out. Hey Nathan, welcome to the chat. Um,
One had a question. Is that supposed to be, do I think Sasha is Tracy's daughter? Is that what you were asking?
was the stylist
Or
star?
Cyrus's daughter?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure which one Kaiwan meant. Either way, I would say she's definitely not Tracy's daughter because she slept with Michael, and that would mean she slept with her cousin. Um, Cyrus's daughter, I mean, it's possible, but he did feed her drug addiction, so that'd be kind of awkward.
Yeah, kind of bad.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I could definitely see Nicolas Chavez being a lead in a Marvel movie at some point.
Mm.
Um, he is built. As a matter of fact, I'll probably post. Maybe you can get him into heels. Because he looks like a wrestler. Um,
Yeah, I'm gonna watch Grotesque, even though I don't usually watch that sort of thing. It's not really my bag, but I'm gonna watch it because I like some of the other actors that are in it, and I just want to see if he plays a different type of character, or if the
yeah,
priest is gonna be a spoiled, entitled, trust fund kid.
right. Thank you guys all for watching so far. Go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Hit that notification bell. Um, so it's just great. It's a great show so far. We love talking about all soaps. That's why the show is Suds News because we talk about everything. It's mainly focused about General Hospital, but we do bring up about others. Um, all right. So Julia in the chat says, "What do you think about the Dex Molly storyline?" So Are they chem testing Dex and Molly for a?
I mean, it's possible, although that would be very weird because Molly was like a preteen or an early teen, like middle school age when Jocelyn was born. She
Yeah,
helped, she was one of the group of kids that helped name Jocelyn. They were always hanging out at Carly's house.
yeah.
Um, Her, Kristina, Michael were always hanging out together, Morgan. Um, so she's a
Quite a
bit
bit.
older. My first thought was, are they going to make, because they're making somebody his father.
Yeah.
Is it going to be Rick?
Wow.
Molly's going to be down a sister, and she isn't, she's very much on the outs with the other one.
Yeah.
Maybe a new sibling is just what the doctor ordered.
And that still would be no relation between Dex and Joss either, because
Mhm.
Joss is Carly and Jax, which is no relation to.
Funny.
That's a possibility. I'd never even thought of that.
Yeah. I was like, that could be interesting, especially because he has said that, his dad was a philanderer and cheated on his mom. And, that sounds like Rick to me.
Sounds like Rick, absolutely. So yeah, I mean,
So that's a possibility. Or, Rick might not even know that he's his and he was adopted or whatever,
yeah,
because Rick slept with his mom and then took off.
yeah.
Also
So
possible. So, yeah, so that was my first thought, just because the age difference is
yeah, but
one would think,
with
but
Taurus and everything, Molly and Joss almost look the same age. You know.
yeah, but Molly's a lawyer and Joss is still in college.
Well, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So,
That's true.
you know,
Yep.
but yeah, so I mean, it's totally possible that they're chem testing them. I just think it's more likely that Dex could end up her brother.
Yeah. Rather than yeah. I mean,
I mean,
because
Rick's not my first choice because I'd prefer there to be no connection whatsoever to Sunny, but Rick and Sunny don't get along, so okay.
yeah.
I wanted him to be Jason's, and then I was like, Brennan's would be pretty cool too. But
I mean, then again, think about it. Could have been maybe Dex's AJ's,
I would love that too, but I don't think they'd do it simply because AJ's not around and he's not going to be.
right? He is.
I don't think they have any interest in recasting him, and Sean Kanan has made it pretty clear that he would eat glass before he'd come back to General Hospital. So, um, yeah. One thing that you missed since you didn't watch today is it wasn't just hints dropping. They literally were throwing anvils at our head that Geo is
Is Brooklyn and Dante.
Brooklyn and Dante's kid.
Yeah, I saw a couple
I
tweets.
mean, literal anvils thrown. I mean, it was like, dude, those are heavy. Stop. I mean, literal. It was so. I mean, soap operas will pound something home, but this one they were like, really? In case you missed it, we're making this kid. I mean, it was, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean that's something I'll watch but yeah, I've seen some tweets about that and just the way Brooklyn was looking at him and yeah, so that's probably and I wonder if that's just gonna tie up the loose end of what Cody knows about Dante, you know,
Right.
that secret.
The big secret is that, but I mean, well, I mean, it's interesting, especially because they had Chase have an adverse reaction when Brooklyn told him about the trying to seduce Dante. So they already have Chase lined up to be like, ooh, and, he never told Lulu about this.
Right.
So there's just all kinds of, and this, I think what there is saying is that it would have happened before.
Before they came to Port Charles.
Right. And then there's Lois talking up Sonny,
Yep.
who would be grandpa.
Yep. And the fact that Sonny has basically bankrolled Gio's education and everything. So do you think that perhaps Lois told Sonny and Sonny knows that Gio's
Wow.
grandfather?
That could be really interesting. Now, what I'm wondering is if because I have a feeling that if that Dante doesn't know there was a kid,
Right.
or he thinks she got an abortion or something like that. Now, the one sticking point about this for me is I could see Lois raising her grandchild. I cannot see Lois having somebody else raise her grandchild still in the family.
Yeah.
That sticking point is just like, I mean, I could definitely see Sonny not caring and just be throwing the money at it because, I mean, he doesn't, he pretends to care about his children on his best day, much less grandkids.
Yeah. Hi, and thank you for the question. Thank you for signing up for Patreon. I do want to thank Ann53 who's in the chat right now for signing up as a patron of Patreon. So go to
Oh,
Patreon
thank you.
slash Suds and Squared Circle. Sign up just like Ann did. And um, she does say, despite of who Geo is going to turn out to be, I still find him not that interesting. And that could just be a product of the writing changes because Geo came on
Yeah.
originally to be the next love interest for Trina, and then he just kind of got lost in the shuffle.
And I mean, honestly, that entire age group got lost in the shuffle.
Yeah,
They had very little, and they're still showing them very sparingly. I think that'll change, but that's one of the problems with Frank collecting cast members like they're Infinity Stones and never letting them go. He
yeah,
clings to them with both hands. But yeah, they're just like that entire age group. It's very weird, is just in this weird holding pattern.
exactly. It is. And it's just, you know, listening to Pier 54's coverage today, Shannon pointed out that Joss is going to make Bobby's go broke because of the amount of food that she
She
serves.
just gives out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
scene with Rick and Liz at Bobby's was funny. It was cute, but it was also funny.
Yeah.
Uh, Rick is trying to get into Elizabeth's good graces, and he goes, "Oh, you'll accept, fries from Jocelyn, but not me." And she's like, "Yeah, because hers don't come with strings attached."
Right. Yeah. And the silly little Friends fries.
Yeah,
That cracked me up.
yeah, that was cheesy.
It was cheesy, but it's so realistic
Yeah,
that, somebody would do a cheesy little line like that. And, yeah, it's going to definitely be interesting because it's like she feels herself still drawn to him, but she knows what a bad idea it is.
yeah.
And then she's going to have Lucky coming back into town,
Mhm.
which is a whole other pot of unresolved crap.
Yeah. Which we kind of saw a sneak peek of Elizabeth and Liz and Lucky this week when Lucky gets beat up on Friday and dragged into his
Mhm.
cell. And I liked how it wasn't just Lucky dreaming of Elizabeth, like he misses her and they're in love and this and that. She kind of tells him the what for and
Yeah.
just calls him out for being a bad father and this and that. And
Mhm.
just like get your ass home and be a father to your kid. Enough of this, it's just I absolutely loved it because it was against what the normal soap trope
Mhm.
is.
Yes, it absolutely was. I'm a little annoyed because it seems like they're kind of ignoring the role that she played in his not
Yeah,
being able to be there, but at the same time, put your shit aside for your kid. Although they've said over the years that him and Aiden were close.
right.
And I mean, they used to say that all three boys would go visit him.
Yeah,
They mentioned at times.
yeah,
Even Cam, all three boys would, when they didn't want to pay for the kids to be in a scene.
right, exactly.
Oh, they're visiting Lucky for a holiday, and now it's different. But um And I agree with you. The young adults are some of my favorites as well.
And come on, where is second wife? Are you talking about Lucky's second wife, Siobhan? Because I think she passed away. Uh,
Yeah, Siobhan died.
yeah, Siobhan passed away years ago on scene.
Liz accidentally poisoned her.
Yeah, something to that effect. Yeah,
Accidentally. Just kidding. She really did accidentally do it. Yeah. Yeah, she's dead.
yeah, she is. Yeah. And I thought that was a crazy twist at the time, anyways, the last time Jonathan Jackson was on. Um,
Well, I mean, when they did that, like literally, they fired Becky Hurst and
yeah,
then announced that the actress who played Siobhan was on, they were putting her on contract.
and
And
that's
then
what killed
they
her.
reversed
Yeah,
Becky Hurst firing. So then it was, well, what do we do now?
yeah,
We have this, we have one extra female,
yeah,
you know, then her number was up.
yeah, and that's unfortunately just what happens.
Yeah, that's life in the big leagues, folks.
Yep. Let's see. What didn't we go? Oh, the biggest freaking news of all. We saved it all to the end. Alexis is already in freaking Pentonville.
Yeah. Well, okay, one thing that has made me crazy about this story is all of the people going, Alexis would never kill anybody.
She
We've
had,
seen Alexis kill multiple people. Liz said that to Rick. And then, the FBI lawyer saying, the federal lawyer saying she's a danger. There's precedent for that.
there is. Yeah.
He killed Luis Alcazar
Yep.
and let Jason and Brenda go on trial for it.
Yep.
She defended them, but she let them kind of, take the rap for her until she was found out. And I mean, I will never feel bad for Sunny over anybody, but there it is a little karmic that she's, you know,
Yeah.
accused of she didn't do and somebody else who did it that, she knows and da 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 da. But, screw Sunny all the way.
She killed Kiefer. Now,
Yeah,
Grant.
she killed like purposely killed people.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it wasn't justified, but for these people to go, she'd never kill anybody. I'm like, Alexis Davis? Is there another Alexis we're talking about? Because Alexis Davis is a stone cold killer.
Yeah. Yeah. She would kill to protect her family.
Absolutely, she would.
So, I mean, it just, and then the whole thing with her and Kristina and Kristina blurting out in the interrogation room. Um, I did go to the quartermaid because I wanted to kill Kate, and Alexa's like, "Stop right there!
Yeah,
Don't ever say that again."
yeah. Another thing that's making me crazy though, because we also had Alexis talking to Sam, and she says, "Promise me if this goes bad, you'll take care of Kristina, not your sisters, Kristina."
You know,
And then we have Sunny asking Molly to be there for Kristina. I wanted her to punch him in the throat.
yeah.
I'm just like, people need to stop telling this woman.
Eventually, that's going to be the origin story of her villainous.
Right? It's becoming my villain origin story, although many would say that that happened a long time ago. But I'm just like,
Remember, folks, Angela answers fan mail on
yes, yes,
live YouTube.
yes, yes, yes.
The show is posted on YouTube, Patreon, and
People
podcasts.
seem to be enjoying it.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm just like, and when she's told Sam to take care of Kristina, if anything, just why not your sisters? Take care of your sisters.
Right.
Oh my God, it was infuriating. And then yeah, Alexis does not get bail, and she's
A flight risk and
yeah, and they're not wrong.
no,
I mean, I don't think she'd flee, but they have no reason to think that. She pretended to be a man
yeah.
and was the butler for the, she's not the most mentally stable, and lest we forget, she's a Cassadine.
Yeah. So, I mean, she is a flight risk,
Yeah.
you know, and to be honest with you, technically, she lied to the cops because she wanted to protect Kristina. And I'm sorry, but if she just told the truth,
Right.
she found a gun in Kristina's backpack or purse and knew that it was against her release from the, pardon, promise to appear or whatever, her
Mhm.
bail and everything. Um, and she got rid of it because she panicked,
Right.
and then she's like, she could have. I'm sorry, but this
And
has dug a hole so deep that I don't think anybody's getting on it.
and one thing that I thought was unrealistic, and usually, whatever, it's a soap opera, but um when she was being interrogated
Yeah,
and the cop was talking to her about her car,
yeah,
and she walked right into, I'm like, how does a seasoned lawyer not see that this question, you're the only one who drove your car that night, is a
yeah,
trap? How do
exactly.
you not think, wait a minute, what do they know about my car?
Yeah,
When you know your daughter took the damn car.
exactly.
How does that not click in her head? She is a seasoned defense attorney.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that annoys me because it's an out of character thing.
Well, I mean, and then Karma, Julia points out that
Mhm.
her cellmate,
We also had the mystery of Heather's test results last week.
did. And it's like, I can guarantee you Portia's going to try to pin it on Brad
Oh, of course she is.
because uh,
Hmm.
we also saw Brad, a couple weeks ago, we saw Brad trying to get back into the lab and Terry being like, okay, on a trial basis. And because we all know that Brad has had some shady dealings in that lab.
And Portia brought up today to Terry that Brad has changed multiple test results.
Yep. And, you know, like, and I saw the tweet that there was a flashback of Portia doing it. And
Hmm.
here's the thing. One thing you cannot say about Rick is that he's dumb.
Right.
He saw the initial test and he brought it to Heather and said, "Sorry, your levels are still the same. But then he got the second test.
The second test from the redundant lab that
Yep.
he had submitted, and he went, wait a minute.
And he
Yeah.
had Elizabeth look at it, just hypothetically speaking, as a medical professional, and
Hmm.
they're totally different tests.
Yeah.
So, Portia fudging and that's she's gonna be caught out. I can guarantee you that. And that's
Right.
gonna
Well, she doesn't know there was a second test, obviously.
right. Yeah. Um, and of course, like we said, chances are she's gonna pin it on Brad.
Oh, she's absolutely going to try to.
Yeah.
So
So,
that will be interesting.
yeah. So I can't wait to see. I like the fact that Brad is gonna get some more work because
Hmm.
of Harry Shen. I think he
Yes.
I think he had some great and I want to see them kind of build that friendship with Maxie that was Britt's dying wish for
Hmm.
Brad and Maxie to become friends.
Yeah.
I would love to see them build that because the friendship between Brad and Britt was fantastic. I loved
It
that
was.
that friendship.
That was a good friendship. And I mean, there's an argument to be made that he would do it because Heather killed Britt.
Yeah, there is that argument too.
He would be a likely suspect
Yes.
in the
So
change of the test results. And he does have the history
that,
of doing it.
yeah. Well, that GH lab in general has a history of being very bad.
My God.
I don't understand how General Hospital the hospital is still in business. How many malpractice suits? The only one we saw was the one against Finn,
Right? I know. And that was a scam.
and that was a scam. How
Right.
many
But,
malpractice
you
suits
know,
did the
the
hospital?
head nurse got that job right after confessing to helping hold a pregnant teenager hostage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I mean, we have to suspend disbelief because it's soap opera, but my God.
I know, right? How is Scotty not rich as a mother effer? You know, because he is an ambulance chaser, that one.
We
Yeah, it's
still know where Scott is,
insane.
right? We still don't know where Scotty is right now, although King tried
We do not.
everybody on Twitter saying he just got done with his surgery and he's looking for work. So,
Yeah.
oh,
Well,
yeah, I know, Kaiwan. My cousin's a lawyer. Hospitals can be sued for many years, and that one dent, um, being in the hospital, suing the hospital,
hmm
they'll stay in. That's what malpractice insurance is for. But just the fact that the
yeah,
only malpractice suit that we've seen on TV was a scam is just amazing to me. Um, so, but again, who knows with this whole with Heather's thing now, that's another malpractice suit that is going
hmm
forward now that we know that the blood work is not,
yeah,
is, has been tainted at the GH lab. Um, so let's see.
yeah,
We saw that Curtis is now the interim CEO of Aurora.
yeah. Which was at first I was like, wow, Drew, that's a little rude to not even talk to Michael about it because he had been, he had run CEO Aurora very well for many, many years while
Yeah,
Drew was presumed dead. He didn't even talk to him about it. And then he was like, well, you're needed with the ELQ thing, but it still seemed very suspect.
yeah,
And it's interesting that the Qs are trying to get ELQ back
yes, yep. So
with
that
Valentin on the
opened
run.
the door for Valentine to come back.
Yeah. Or for them to just close the door on him completely, which I don't know what they're going to do with that because Charlotte's going to have to play into the Lulu thing.
Yeah, I mean, unless they get Charlotte back and just leave Valentine off,
Right.
who knows?
Yeah.
Um, and we'll see James Patrick Stewart pop up again at some point. I mean, he's not gone for good. Um,
We'll see. I hope not.
yeah, I mean,
But we don't know for sure at this point. I mean, they gave Brennan an out, and
yeah,
they very could have easily said that Valentin was also part of that op.
right,
Didn't.
yeah,
So, yeah, I think that was like the Ava
do it,
Jagger
but
thing.
they didn't come right out and say it.
Yeah. So, and they, pinned the whole drugging thing on him too.
Yeah,
Sonny's meds on him too. And so, yeah, I kind of think that he became the fall guy with the writing change.
yeah, which is kind of sad because JPS
It
is,
is. Oh, he's fabulous.
but I mean, again, he's doing other stuff too. His show, The Villains of the other Disney
The
show.
villains, the Valley View. It wasn't picked up, but he does still do other things. But him and his wife also just bought a house in Washington State and moved out of California.
Oh, well, there you go.
He had posted about that. But I mean, he's recurring. He can
Yeah.
commute. Bradford lives in Northern California and commutes. So yeah. So I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, they could bring him back for a one-off, showing him having a touching goodbye with Charlotte because he doesn't want her to live a life on the run and sending her back to her mother who was awake.
Exactly.
So I mean, I have no doubt that Charlotte's coming back because the actress was talking about how she was excited to work with JJ.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And who knows? Maybe we'll get the return of Valentine's mustache.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe he'll accept another job for the WSB and have to be
Yeah.
undercover.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
So much that could happen there as well.
Yes.
Um, and but again, there's a lot. That's the one thing that I have to say about this new writing regime is there's so much stuff that you can't wait to see and you can't predict. Other than the stuff that they're throwing right at you about, Geo and
Yeah.
Dante and Brooke,
Yeah.
all that. But um again, it's so good right now. It's
Mhm.
can't miss, in my opinion. Um,
I couldn't agree more.
and you can't predict what's going to happen. There,
Yeah.
it can go in so many different directions. Um,
And it's going in great ones. So
you know,
fun.
Drew and Willow, I have a feeling that's going to be another crazy roller coaster
Yeah.
ride. Somebody said I was listening to JLJ's General Hospital mini spotlight, and somebody had suggested, what if Michael and Nina hook up, to get back at Drew and Willow. I don't foresee that happening.
No, I don't see. I mean, if Michael was going to lash out and do anything, it would be with like Sasha or
Right.
somebody else, but it's not going to be with Nina. I could see Nina doing it with somebody else, but it wouldn't. I don't see Michael doing Nina.
No. No, I don't foresee that either.
I don't see that at all.
I do like Michael fired up. I
Mhm.
like when Chad Duell has that kind of content to portray,
Yeah,
being fired up, like he was against Ned, like he was talking to Joss last, the week prior, about,
that made me crazy, but yes.
I like seeing Chad Duell have that kind of,
Mhm.
you know, stuff to film because he's so good at it.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
I'm
You think
sorry,
about the stuff he came on to with Michael in prison and
right. And the Michael and Willow pairing has just been so blah for the past
yeah.
number of months that Michael himself has kind of suffered.
Right. Well, that's the problem with a happy couple on a soap opera
Yeah,
is that they're boring.
yeah. And that, you
You
know,
know,
um,
and that's a fate worse than death.
yeah, it really is. And I agree, Kaiwan. They weren't making Willow a three-dimensional character. She's been on, she's had a number of different character changes, and the whole thing with her having cancer, at some point I was like, just die already. Like
Everybody was.
they dragged that out so much. And I get it that timing wise, and Charles Shaughnessy had a hip surgery, so they had to postpone Greenland for a while. I get that. But again, at some point, it's like
Doesn't make it less annoying.
it doesn't make it less annoying. And she was just laid up in a bed for months on end. And I get it. Cancer can be like that. But at some point, the character is just like, just die already. I mean, and I don't like saying that about anybody, but character is one thing.
Oh,
Um,
I have no problem wishing death on a character. I have no problem wishing death on a child character. I want Donna to go out the way Morgan did. I want a car bomb with her name on it. It's not, I
that's
don't want the actress to die, but the character, oh, there is no character that's off limits for me.
and that's just to sever the tie between Carly and Sonny.
Absolutely. And when Michael's acting like this, he can be in the car with her. When Michael's carrying water for Sonny, he can be holding his baby sister in that car. Jocelyn is proving herself the superior Spencer child right now, let me tell you.
um, gosh, yeah. No. Although I wouldn't, I don't know. It's if they're gonna go the route of Sonny, let's say Mo is retiring and then Sonny's going off into the sunset. Will that be the end of the mob in Port Charles, or will
I
Dante
think
turn?
No, Dante won't turn. I think it'll be the end. Because I mean, they're laying the groundwork for that as well.
Yeah.
We're not seeing any mob stuff really,
No.
but they're building up the WSB.
Yep.
We have a new doctor, which, and they're alluding to other doctor, you know what I mean? So, they build up the hospital side, the WSB, they're building up the PCPD. We're going back to the 80s. We'll see, and if we see mob, it'll be the mobsters as bad guys, like Frank Smith was.
Yeah.
I mean, I really am seeing like the 80s
Yeah.
building on my screen. I don't know if it's just me, but
Because, Maurice, because Sonny being a mobster, but he's been portrayed as a baby face for this entire run. It's only been the past couple of months where, because his meds were off, he has an out, and his meds were off, that he's being portrayed as a heel, but he has that out. Now that
which is
his meds are back
ridiculous because
on,
he acts the same way on his meds, but whatever.
um,
Hate that character. God, I hate that character.
but the fact that Sonny is you know, the main lead of the show, and he's been the face of GH for the past 20 years, 30
At
years.
least, yeah. Yeah.
It was not once Luke kind of stepped back to part-time status, and
Mhm.
you know, it's been all Sonny.
Right. And I mean, honestly, I mean, Duke was a mobster and he was a romantic hero. But the difference is my big issue with Sonny being the romantic lead is that I think he is physically and verbally
Abuse.
abusive to women
Yeah.
and has been from Karen on. He was physically abusive and verbally abusive to Brenda, Karen, Carly, Claude. I mean, the list goes on and on and on about women he has been that way to, and that is my bigger issue with him being the romantic lead.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Duke was a mob boss,
Yeah.
and he was you know what I mean. He's Anna's the love of her, but so there's, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Sonny ends up his relationships are more toxic than
yeah,
anything.
and he's the common denominator.
Yeah. Exactly. But folks, we've been at it for about an hour and a half. I think we kind of hit on everything. Uh,
Yes.
Go out of your way to kind of, and we're about GH here, but go out of your way to watch some of the other stuff that's on, because there's so much good stuff on right now. Go check out Studio City. Go check out The Bay. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m., Dockside of the Bay will be live on this channel. It'll be our last live episode of Dockside at the Bay, as we're going to start pre-recording it. Just because it just makes better sense, being that we're not doing it based on a week full of live television or new programming. This stuff is all on demand. So, but Suds News next week will be at 8 p.m. instead of 10 p.m. So just remember, next week, which is September 30th, we will be on live at 8 p.m. instead of 10 p.m. So keep that programming note on. And then this will be the only live episode, live show that goes forward. Everything else be pre-recorded, released on Patreon a day before it goes to YouTube and everything. So just keep all that, and we'll be putting tweets out and posts and everything. Follow social media on Twix is at Suds Media. Go to our website, suds-media.com, for all of the news and notes. Follow Taking Me Down to Studio City. It does have its own podcast feed now. Follow Angela. Angela Answers Fan Mail. That also has its own podcast feed as well. But you could go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here and hit that notification bell, because anything comes up here, and become a patron. Patreon.com/Suds and Squared Circle. If you want to just support the show, go to Buy Me a Coffee, buymeacoffee.com/Suds and Squared Circle. Help out the show. And you can utilize our WWE shop affiliate link, which is suds-media.com/wrestling merch. And that gives us a commission for whatever you buy through that link. Angela, where can everybody find you?
Twitter at Brooklyn74, and pettyprattle.com is up. It's running. It's roaring to go. Weekly, daily spoilers. We have a lot of fun content starting this weekend as well. We have a couple new podcasts coming your way. There's one we're starting a podcast about the show Found, which will be coming back in a week or two. We're going to launch that. And, yeah, pettyprattle.com for your daily and weekly spoilers, and coming soon recaps. We've just been, getting back on the ball with it. And yeah.
So
and of course, Days for Dummies on Sunday.
So is Found a sequel to Lost?
It's kind of, the premise of it is there's a woman who was kidnapped as a child and held for years by this crazy person. And now she's grown. She escaped. She's grown, and she runs an agency that helps find people the police aren't as interested in. People women of color, immigrant, people that are more marginalized. Now, the twist is she has an agency, and everybody who works for her agency either was in that situation or lost somebody to a situation like that. The twist is she has help coming from her basement. She has her kidnapper chained down there.
Oh.
In her basement. He's played by Mark Paul Gosselaar, who was on Saved by the Bell. This show is phenomenal. I cannot suggest it enough. It was so good. It had a short first season because, it was a pickup. Like a mid-season pickup. So it's only like the first season's only like 13 episodes, and they're all out there. They're all on demand. It was an NBC show. I'm sure Peacock has it. Sure. And the new season is a full season, and it's starting. Yeah, it's insanely good.
But it has nothing to do with the show Lost.
No.
Okay. So it's not Lost then Found. It's
no.
Nope. All right. Check that out on pettyprattle.com.
Yes.
And there's just content coming out. And again, check out the Monsters After Show on JLJ Media and the 10th Floor podcast, 10th Floor YouTube channel. So there's a lot. We're all a family here. We all like to support each other. So check us all out. There's a lot. Trust me, my podcast app is filled with multiple podcasts of GH and Days and everything. So
us Yeti Mike bitches like to stick together.
But we're out of time for tonight. Stay tuned to this network because there's a lot of content coming up. Join our Patreon, patreon.com/Suds and Squared Circle. So we are out of time. So for Angela, I'm Vinny. We'll see you next week. Special start time, 8 p.m. Live. But we'll see you next week right here on Suds News. Have a great night, everybody.